Ginger Prime stands with a rallying call. Pixelit faith standing strong through it all. The frame rate may falter, but hearts won't fall. Chrono rewrites what you thought you knew at all. Late to the game, but his wisdom lands clean. Skill checks are off, that's the price of a dream. Gaming kinda brings a chaos and thrill, dropping rare loot with unshakable will. Forte holds the line, grace under the blade, faith like a fortress that never will fade. Scrag lights the fire with a storm in his breath. $80 flat for unfinished quests. Joy-Con still drifting, my patience long gone. But I'll queue up at midnight, you know I'll play on. Pull up a chair, the battle's begun. Legends are forged in the light of the sun. One life now saves, play it bold, take the lead. At the gaming roundtable where the fearless plant every seed. Reshine by them, riding tree. Ride no please, rise through the fire, no checkpoint in sight. One heart, one strike through the endless night.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gaming Roundtable. Happy New Year. We've got Scrag and Chrono in the hot seat here today talking about what we've been up to for the last couple of weeks. We've been off and we're back with our regularly scheduled podcast. Thanks for everybody who is here in the live show or checking this out when the podcast concludes as a VOD. Be sure to hit that like button and leave a comment, especially in the VOD. And I want to hear from the VOD squad out there as it really greatly helps support the content here at the channel. Now, all that being said, there's a lot going on. Breaking news, and this is so stupid. They have announced the Final Fantasy OG, I guess, Pixel Master for the first one is now in Game Pass. So I just saw that pop up on Twitter right before we're going live. I was like, goodness gracious, that doesn't feel like such a big announcement. But
the January lineup for Game Pass is actually pretty strong.
What do they got?
They got, oh, dang it, I have to pull it back up.
Yeah, let's pull it back up. Because it's like, for me, Game Pass is continually like getting less and less interesting overall because of the price increase. I was talking with Lono on Reforged about this the other day. It's all about play anywhere, and that's kind of the thing I'm actually really looking forward to here in 2026. I went ahead and bought Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined, and I'm just kind of on this massive Dragon Quest kick, and I'm loving it. And if you guys
want to try it,
have you downloaded the demo for 7?
No,
I don't know why they called it Reimagined, but whatever.
It's on my list of things to do over the weekend.
Dude, it's so we'll talk about it. Let's go to Scrag, man. Are you still hundreds and hours and living and breathing in Arc Raiders, or is there a new I guess game on your horizon?
Currently I've been playing a little bit of Monster Hunter Wilds on PlayStation 5 because the PC port is just ass, and I recently dug my PS5 out of the closet. So
still, it's still having performance problems.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would much rather play in 120 FPS on a PlayStation than 90 to 160 on my PC.
Okay,
for sure. Like it's solid. You set it to 120 and just works. So that's what I'm doing. Other than that, I've been doing a little bit of aim trainer because I got a new mouse that's a little bit smaller than the one I'm used to. So I'm trying to get used to it. And yeah, Arc Raiders, I really, really would love to spend hundreds more hours in the game. But right now, the kettle's a problem, the stitcher's a problem, the trigger needs are a problem, and all the exploits that people are doing are a problem. So I'm just going to
kind of the streamer drama around the game itself.
Which one?
Well, so if there's more than one, the one that I'm personally aware of is stream snipers, and the frustration the streamers are having. And I did see like there was a message that came out of the studio that said, "Hey guys, we're off for the holidays," and they're looking at trying to address some of these critical issues, which makes sense that they're so bothersome because like the number for the game total players has only been going up. Like it is not just a hit. It isn't, but it's following. It's the exception rather than the rule. Than with the game, it's like, oh, it has its peak and then it drops. But the game's popularity, continues to grow and grow. And they also did confirm specifically the aggression-based matching system. So if you're really looking for that PvP experience, you're going to run into people who are looking for that PvP experience. So that's what I'm aware of. Did I miss anything else out there in the world?
Well, also there's like a thing where people are rightfully so accusing streamers of using macros to like spam clicks with the kettle, which is a problem. There's also this whole thing where cheaters will stream snipe. Like you said, stream sniping is a problem, but cheaters specifically are able to see everyone's username. So it makes stream sniping much, much, much easier.
So it's less just stream sniping for fun, for like trolling and just griefing, like targeting specific streamers when you recognize the names.
Yes. So basically, like you can
like a couple minute delay.
So it doesn't matter though. It doesn't. Okay. It like, and you can't really delay in a game like that when it comes to talking with your chat because you might be like a minute and a half past like killing 6 people at once, like, oh, that was awesome, and then like in 2 minutes your chat's like, oh god, watch out, there's a guy over there, whatever, like you get spammed with a bunch of messages that are just out of sync, and so that's not really fun. You can't really interact with your chat, but yeah, I mean, some streamers have started trying to like hide what map they're going to. But the problem with that is a lot of times you're playing with a team when you're streaming anyway. So you're like, oh, you guys want to go to Stellamontis? And everyone's like, yeah, let's go to Stellamontis. And then like 5 minutes later, you're going to Stellamontis. So big surprise that you're getting stream sniped in Stellamontis, right? Like you would have to mute everything and hide everything on your screen for like 5 minutes to decide, oh, where are we going next? Oh, let's go over here, and then do it. And even then, they know you're matchmaking. So if they're really trying to stream snipe you by the thousands, which is what it seems like is happening, they're just all going to queue up in different maps and hope they get in with you. So
yikes.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem. The biggest problems are the exploits, though. Like I saw yesterday, someone because they disabled what do you call it? NVIDIA filters.
Okay.
And NVIDIA filters is like a feature where you can like see better, right? Well, they disabled that, and you can still use the NVIDIA control panel, which is what I use because I have an OLED monitor, and whenever it's in a dark area, I can't see anything. So I have to turn up the gamma just a little bit so I can even kind of see. But people are like full blasting that so they can see. But worse yet, someone came up with an exploit where they can essentially turn off all of the graphic settings on Unreal 5, so all you get is 3D models. You don't get any atmosphere, no shadows, no lighting. The foliage is like a lot less pronounced. So like you're literally only seeing the 3D models that are in the game with their fake lighting.
That's like the equivalent of like competitive shooters where they just crank the graphics way down so it cuts out like ambient occlusion or foliage and stuff like that. So
there was a mod I know that was like for Final Fantasy 11 that lets you see through walls. Like you could kind of just take it down to the wireframe. So you could be like, all right, I want to see what's behind this wall, so I don't have to run around and end up. Oh no, it's a weapon and it was ready for me,
And the other thing too, even on console, you're not safe. There's Cronus Zen devices, which people have paid Patreons for scripts for arc raiders to like cheat. There's also, you can stream your PlayStation or your Xbox to your Steam Deck or your PC through something like Moonlight, and then you can have Moonlight set up with like macros and hotkeys on your controller through Steam Input through like that advanced system, and you can still cheat in the console version. You can also still use your NVIDIA control panel gamma boost. So there's a lot of problems, and I don't know how they're going to fix them all. The biggest things though that they really need to fix are people exploiting and cheating. If they could get rid of those people, maybe send Steam support to their address, that'd be awesome.
They really just need to hire Nintendo's lawyers, and then the problem solved.
Remember when
Nintendo's lawyers don't have
like people door to like to the house or whatever? Like that was before
Yeah.
before Borderlands 3. It's like, yeah. I think I'm all for, from like a cheating perspective, that cheaters get to play with cheaters. So it's like,
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
you
well,
get,
what they're doing is with the aggression-based matchmaking. If you're an aggressive player, you're pretty much only playing with cheaters. So,
Ooh.
like, on the one hand, I am a PVE enjoyer. I would really enjoy if there was an option to be like, I want to play the game more PVE and like have a PVE only like setup, but not all the time. Just like a map
Right.
mode where you can't shoot each other. Just like once or twice a day for like 30 minutes, so that I can
it'd
actually
be way
do
more
stuff.
relaxing overall, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like, when it comes down to it, that's the thing. Back to your idea from 2025, like, you'd like to see Square Enix make some version of this, like a Final Fantasy, not necessarily an extraction shooter, but that same kind of concept where you're queuing up in a map and it kind of has that shared world and there's these things to do, and etc. And I was like, man, that sounds so fun. It sounds so relaxing. When it ends up being, you have that tension where, like, I don't know if they're going to kill me. That also sounds fun. But
Yeah,
at
I
the
do
end
like
of
the tension and I
yeah.
love the PvP in the game. But right now, if you PvP, you're going to get in lobbies with cheaters. Like,
Ooh.
so like on the one hand, cool, pieces of crap in the game get matched with cheaters and they get what they deserve. But on the other hand, not really, because at least they're not cheating.
Yeah.
Like, I would prefer if there was a way that I could just chill for like 30 minutes and play the game without having to worry about it. But also, I like the tension of maybe I'm going to get shot. So I mean, like, there's just so many issues that, like, currently, like this last week or so, I've been doing renovations on my house and like not even worried about it. Like, I've played maybe 5 raids in the last week and a half. So yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for the patch notes to see if they fix some issues. And other than that, yeah, not much. I've been considering getting back into 14, but I just haven't done it yet.
Ah, well, the FanFest is up this year. Speaking of somebody
speaking of
considering,
FanFest, though,
hold on.
can I say one thing?
1 second. I was like, Chrono in our Discord chat is like, he's on the, like, we've almost subtly convinced him to jump into 14 as well. So
Well,
I'm very,
there's the thing about the DDoSes happening.
that's
14.
attractive to you. Like, oh man, like,
No. It's just I'm now covering it on my channel, and I've not covered any MMO news previously. So now it's like, you guys are wearing me down. So before you know it, I'm gonna log in. No,
That's
dude,
been-
I spent
that's been
most
my
of
subtle
Christmas
play.
break.
Like, let's get Chrono on the podcast for years. I'm gonna quit, and it's gonna become like a big thing for like a day or two on the YouTubes, and then years later, Chrono's like, you know what, I'm
It's
in.
time.
I was like, yes, mission
It's
accomplished.
time.
It was all.
I
I do want Craig. Go ahead, Chrono, and then I want to get back to Scrag on the.
I did
Fanfest.
spend the Christmas break playing a lot of Final Fantasy 16. So
How far have you beaten it yet?
no, God, no. I get too distracted by side quests and like just looking at all the nooks and crannies for stuff. And also, the combat's fun. Like, I get like why people miss turn based, but I'm enjoying it. I just got to where Clive learns he's Ifrit, and it's like, okay, this is great. I'm really into the story now, because it kind of meandered to that point, but I'm in it, man. It's fun.
Yeah, I like the story. I like the characters. I like, one of the things that was interesting that I even made the argument when it was coming out is like, I get that there's the action versus turn based, and there is some crossover. I play action RPGs. I play turn based RPGs. I like them both. I think there's pros and cons to each, right? However, like, what was interesting to me is that when Dragon Quest XI came out, they also had in the same game a classic, kind of 2D sprite based version, and you could play the entire game in that same kind of like retro style. And it's like, I get why a studio doesn't want to make 2 games in one, but it would have been an interesting approach to see from just an A/B test, right? YouTube's given us the ability to A/B test titles and thumbnails. I love it because I can put 2 things that I like, and I can put one absolute clickbaity, nonsense driven one, and it's just like, that one keeps winning. Like, it's like, come on, guys, stop with it. It's like, click on the good titles, please. But yeah, so it's really interesting to see. And I thought, like, all in all, like, I really enjoy 16. I want to play it again. But they keep also making all these great retro games and so much more. I want to talk about that in a minute. Craig, you want to bring up the FanFest thing because that is kicking off this year.
You know what would be really freaking cool? Would be freaking awesome is if after 16 years of subscribing to FanFest, I could get a ticket one time. That would be great.
Pretty easy back in the day. Now when Shadowbringers
yeah, but I didn't have
was
money
out, back
in the day.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Once you finally get money to enjoy your hobbies, you now don't have the time to be able to enjoy your hobbies.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to pay a scalper. Sorry.
No, definitely not.
No. The thing I've always made the argument, especially with FanFest, I think this year that's probably going to be in California, but it was previously in Vegas, and it was like, just go anyway. Like, you're in Vegas, you're going to have a good time, and like then you could still go do all the FanFesty stuff outside of like just watch the announcement on the computer and you're rocking and rolling. But
yeah, I don't know. It's just I feel like as a legacy user of a 1 week before the official release date in 2010, I should get an email and say, "Hey, we're doing FanFest. Would you like to buy a ticket first before anyone else because you played the game first before anyone else?" And your name's in the credits. That'd be nice. It'd be really nice.
Julie and I's names are in the credits. I love that. It's always kind of like, people coming in, Shadowbringers, like, I was like, my name's in the credits, dude.
Don't get me wrong. I'm still going to go there and ask for Blitzball, but I would like the opportunity to go at least.
Like, goodness, we got to get Chris back on the pod just to talk about Blitzball. and Yoshi P's like, has any new ideas floated your way on that? Because, man, that was teased and was hopeful for Stormblood. Was like throwing it back, like, was that 10 years ago now? 8 years ago? Like, hey, maybe Blitzball because it's the underwater expansion. And then it was like, no, we didn't even get that. But the anyway, like, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna live stream the FanFest. I'm not planning on physically going anywhere. I was glad for the FanFest that I did go to, but yeah, it's not cheap. Like, flights, hotel, like the whole thing. It's like, yep, now that was a fun mini vacation for sure. But yeah, this year I'm just hoping that they totally I hope 8.0 really hits a lot of the outstanding feedback that the game has received year over year. I saw an interesting video by Quasi, who was kind of talking about like the 3 types of quitters of Final Fantasy 14. I found that to be very interesting and insightful. And if you guys haven't seen that video, he's been posting some more Final Fantasy content, and I think we'll probably see more of that kind of start to pick up as 0.5 rolls out, which is usually when you see most people returning as you start getting into that expansion hype. My thing though is that with the timing, it's very possible that the expansion doesn't come out this year, but we're talking 2027. Like, I don't know. I think that's a long time to try and maintain a level of hype for an upcoming product, but we will see. We'll know more here probably within the next couple of weeks or months or so what that kind of looks like. But Chrono, at the start of the show, I brought up a Game Pass. Were you able to look up to see?
Yeah,
you said it's a stacked.
Yeah, it's got some fairly popular games this time around, which has not been the norm for the last few months of Game Pass. Namely, Final Fantasy. I believe this is the Pixel Remaster version, but it doesn't explicitly say. But I assume it is.
Yeah, I would assume.
Then you've got games like Little Nightmares Enhanced Edition, which is done pretty well. Atomfall, which was pretty popular at launch. I thought it launched in Game Pass. Apparently it didn't, so it's getting added now. Rematch, which was a 3v3 soccer game that was doing very well. It was, hitting the social space. And then Resident Evil Village, which again, I mean, that's a bigger game that just to be on Game Pass is just kind of surprising. And then I wouldn't say this is a benefit, but if you've been waiting to try Star Wars Outlaws and you have Game Pass, now you can do it with no additional cost. Because I know when that game launched, it got a lot of criticism. It was very buggy. And it's a Ubisoft game, so, take that for what you will.
Yeah, I have no problems with people playing Ubisoft games if they're completely free, so.
Right. And so, I think it looks like a pretty solid month. There's a few other games coming. later that some of those that I mentioned are even coming later this month, but it's just surprising to see them start off so strong in the year. Usually at the beginning of the year, Game Pass, and back when they did games with gold, January was one of the weakest. The post holiday like free games were just like, oh, this is just, nobody wants this.
Probably why they were there.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Hey, well, no one's playing this game. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, like I'm very curious to see if right now the way the Game Pass is currently like set up and rolling. I'm just like, yeah, the $30 doesn't make sense, and that price. I was priced like I'm at $20 until like October, and at that point it's like, gosh, I don't know, because more and more games that I'm personally more enjoying are play anywhere, and they're not in Game Pass. Like we saw the Dragon Quest 1 and 2. That's something that I'm working on beating Dragon Quest 2, but then they just go out and shadow drop kind of the Dragon Quest 7 demo, which
apparently comes out really quick. Like I didn't realize it was
2nd.
so soon.
February 2nd. And if you go and play the demo, that's why I was like, you should at least go download it and give it a shot. Your progress carries over. And I love it when Square Enix has been doing that, as they've been doing it with more and more of their games. Like, check out the demo. And then if you do pick up the game, they did it with Final Fantasy 16. And that was great because you could jump in, experience it, and then be excited for, jumping into the game when it fully, released a month or two later. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed that opportunity to kind of go hands on before the reviews and kind of get a feel for what overall the game
felt like. They did the
same
with 7 Remake as well, especially the Switch 2 and Xbox versions. Those saves carry over, which those games have been out. That's just, they're just porting it to that hardware. But even back then when it first launched, the PS4 demo, your save carried over. So like, I appreciate that they've stuck with that for so long. Because it does make, nobody wants to replay a tutorial.
Right.
Like, okay, I've already got that out of the way.
That's why I'm always enthralled by those by gamers who play a game for the story several times. It's like I'll watch a movie, sure, but it's like from a game, especially a 60-hour game, there's got to be a time jump. There's got to be a big time jump. That's why I'm enjoying, like I'm enjoying the story of 1 and 2 for Dragon Quest. Say Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I honestly wouldn't mind going back and playing 7. The original one, just to kind of get refreshed on that story and have it like locked and loaded, because it's been so long. But I do have a little bit of a story around Dragon Quest 7, and this is why I'm actually really excited with it, because visually I think they did a really cool job. And I remember watching some documentaries on how they kind of use dolls to model the characters and then build out the visuals from there. But 7 was this like, it came out, I think I was like a freshman in college. I was on the PlayStation 1, I believe. Maybe that was right around the PlayStation 2 was getting ready to come out or something like that. And timeline wise, Dragon Quest 4 was the last Dragon Quest we had in the United States. And we had this long gap. And it wasn't until 7 that we finally got another Dragon Quest game. The thing that's wild about it is that, like, and playing through the demo now, they have streamlined some of it, but it was like 2+ hours before you actually got into your first battle in Dragon Quest 7. Like, it was we're setting up a lot of we're doing a lot of world building about what's going on. And then I'm like, oh yeah. And I was playing through this and I saved it and I was checking my time and I was like, yeah, I'm at an hour 45 and I haven't fought anything yet. Like, this is, it was better, like roughly about like an hour. Like, I was just right almost to the first fight. And now I'm fighting things left and right, which has been, enjoyable. I love that they bring the monsters into the open world field, because I think that was a general complaint. And I can understand that RNG battle, like, hey, I wasn't, like,
it wears on you.
It wears on you, and it's like, oh no, I'm in the battle, as opposed to like, oh, I can see a monster, and if I want to go fight, I can go try and get a jump on them. Versus, obviously like the pre-stage battles. But I've been playing with that with the kids. It's been enjoyable. I've got it on Xbox Play Anywhere, so that's where I went ahead and purchased it. I also went ahead and purchased the Final Fantasy 7 Remake, because that's Play Anywhere, and it's like that Play Anywhere tag is like, I don't. Like we there are going to be some big Xbox games this year that we know of. In fact, one of the big topics I wanted to talk with you guys about is the Xbox 25 kind of dev deep dive. that's coming up here in January. I think that's where we hopefully will see Fable. Has it? I don't know.
No, that's
Been
confirmed. They're going to
Okay,
show
good.
Fable, Forza Horizon 6, I believe is the one they're on now. And then the game from Game Freak that's going to be on Xbox. Was it something reincarnation? I don't remember the title, but it's from the Pokemon guys. They're making a not Pokemon game, and so people are interested in that. What's funny is watching people react to like that trailer for that Game Freak title that they showed last year. Looks great, and then they're like, "Why can't they make Pokemon look good like this? This looks good." And it's like, well, if you've been making Pokemon for the last 35 years, 40 years, like if you've been working on this one title and then you get to finally like stretch your legs and do something else, you're going to go all out into that something else. The burnout is probably very real at Game Freak. And so seeing this new title come out, I'm very interested in what it's going to be. So this deep dive is going to be a good look into it. There's
Is it
also
going to be a
rumors
game that goes to everywhere?
yeah,
Okay,
I believe
good.
it's multi-platform. There's also like I think a rumored fourth game that's supposed to be shown that they're waiting to reveal at the direct. I don't know if it's a new game reveal, but there's definitely more to talk about because those three games, I feel like they'll show a trailer or two. They might have some devs talking about making the game, but that's not a show unless they spend a lot of time talking about Fable, and then
Are y'all excited about Fable?
No.
I'm interested. I don't know. The initial trailers for it were just kind of okay. I think graphically it'll be cool.
I'm a big grump when it comes to Fable. Fable 1 was cool. Fable 2 was cool. We'll see.
It's going to be interesting if they
been
can
like 12 years since they've released a Fable game.
Yeah. And then this is a whole new
Longer?
studio working on it. So,
Yeah, Playground.
We've got Playground, who has made Forza Horizon for the last however many years, getting to do something new, which is great, while still releasing another Forza game, which is the only Forza game coming out for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, they've like walked away from motorsport, at least for the time being.
Yeah, Turn 10 is a support studio, and so the mainline Forza series is on
Horizon 6.
hiatus.
That's gonna be in Japan, right? Did we know the location?
Yeah, that's what they revealed. Was it like September last year? It was like the Tokyo, Japan reveal, which is cool. Like people wanted it. It seems like a cool location. I like the Horizon game more than like the motorsport, but it's the arcadey goofiness of it that's really fun. But I don't know what else they're going to show at all. Like I don't know what even, because would they really surprise us with Halo?
Well, we
already know it's coming.
We in Gears of War E-Day.
Yeah,
they've got Fable, and Phil Spencer. This kind of goes back to the Just 4 Games meme. But Phil Spencer said like there's kind of like 4 mainstay staple games that are coming out in honor of Halo. The Xbox's 25th anniversary, which is this year. And so Fable, Gears of War E-Day. We already knew about those, but they announced the Halo, which we know is coming out this year, and that's going to be cross-platform. Is this fourth game? Is this what franchise? Like, it's got to be in an established franchise. Otherwise, it's like, hey, brand new game, but that doesn't.
I don't think it's going to be like a big reveal. I think it's going to be something we already know. We're just going to get like a new trailer, maybe a release date, or something from something we already know about. I doubt they reveal a whole new game at this, because if we learned anything, it's announcing games too early makes your fans mad when you cancel them 2 or 3 years later. So
Perfect Dark is an example that still hurts. It's like, they faked a lot of the footage, etc. Then it's like, all right, come on, guys, like find the guys who want to make the game, and that's where
I'm still frustrated about Scalebound. Like that game looked awesome.
And I don't even really like them.
Yeah.
From the 2000s, where they're like, oh, we're gonna make you be able to play Kerrigan. Yeah.
So there's rumors that the BlizzCon they're gonna reveal that the StarCraft game
it's
that
like
has
a
been
person shooter or something around those lines. Yeah.
So I think it was rumored BlizzCon was gonna have a couple of other reveals. So I mean, That would be great. I mean, they always do, but like if they could reveal like some big surprises. I like being surprised through these things. I don't want to know going in. That's why I'm not big
Like,
on leaks.
I would say like whatever this fourth game ends up being is that it better be out this year. Like,
Yeah, it
you're
has
going
to
to sit
be.
down and you're going to like highlight these games. And okay, you know, maybe something needs a couple more months, you know, and maybe it slips to early 2027. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and, you know, be upset about it, but it's hey, you announced this 5 years ago. How's it, you know, it's like, why, you know, stop telling me about things that you're working on. I'm really just like we talked about this with me and Scrag talked about this on the last podcast with Light No Fire. It's like they announced it over 2 years ago. Okay, fine, fair, like small team, you know, they're working on this like, you know, game. Are y'all gonna talk about it again?
Yeah.
At all? Like,
Nope.
Right.
it's like not yet. Like, okay, I get my hopes up every time Jeff Keighley comes on stage because it was like, oh, it'd be poetic to be like, 2 years ago we announced Light No Fire. Now, da-da-da-da. You know, it's like, no,
Oh, dude,
nothing.
Game Awards. I was there with you, or you didn't watch the end.
I was so tired.
Dude.
It was so boring because it's like, you know, I'm like, all right, like
I
I
caught the
cannot
highlights.
stand Jeff Keighley. First off. Second off, yeah, dude, the announcements and stuff, they would always hype him up and be like, hey, it's something nobody would ever expect. And then they come out with like whatever the game was, and it's like, yeah, I definitely wouldn't have expected that because I don't want that. Good job.
yeah.
It was just such a freaking.
That's been a lot of the reveals at a lot of events that weren't like specific. Like Xbox's stuff has been okay. Nintendo Directs, I can find something to be excited about because I like a lot of Nintendo games. But a lot of these general like game announcement shows or, you know, things that'll have new reveals, I'll see a trailer for something. I'm like, I have no interest in this. Like, am I just an old curmudgeon set in my ways and I only like, you know, a handful of genres? Or is it just there's so much coming out that appeals to so many different people that there's no way like to appeal to everyone?
There is a ton of stuff coming out, and that's kind of where like I'm not in this, you know, like we talked, you put it beautifully. It's like you got the money, but you don't have the time, and so it's like, where do I want to put my time buckets? And I was like, I got No Rest for the Wicked. The multiplayer update drops on the 22nd, and the just the pure changes they made to Archer are so good. Like I went back and was playing the live build because I've been doing preps and making guides, and I've got a couple things in the hopper, and I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, man, I already missed that those bow changes. I'm looking forward to that because it feels so good, especially because they brought in quivers that changed essentially the arrow type, so you have wide range of possibilities, and it just feels so good. So I've been just enjoying that. And then it's like, yeah, I'm enjoying some old school games. I'm hopeful, praying that they remake, you know, Final Fantasy 6 as maybe a 2D, like 2D HD. They don't have to go the Final Fantasy 7.
No, I think they should go the full Monty, but keep it turn based, bro.
Like, yeah.
They should go all the way because they've been releasing statues that are like highly detailed and stuff. Like if you're gonna go through the effort to make like to pay a company to like make 3D models of like highly intricate like stuff from the game, I feel like they should just go all the way. Like honestly.
Yeah.
Because 6 is such a good game that nobody's played because the graphics sucks. And when I say nobody, I don't mean Final Fantasy fans. I mean anyone who's like.
Okay, I get that's a fair argument. You could bring in a whole new audience of like visual fidelity.
Well, it's funny you say that because I read an article where some of the senior staff at Square Enix now are seeing where like newer employees, their favorite Final Fantasy or their first Final Fantasy is like 13.
Mm-hmm.
And so they may have played some of the, you know, 2D ones at some point, but their first experience is a 3D, you know, full on cinematic experience as opposed to what we all grew up playing, right?
I saw people saying Square Enix is cooked because of their if your favorite Final Fantasy game is 13, there is no hope.
Yeah, they're not going back to
there was some things to like about 13. I got frustrated with that entire setup because the changes that they made in 13 too, I was like, oh, those are great. Like I wish they would I like the combat changes. It'd be great if they went and patched those in to 13, but they never did. And then I got so frustrated because everybody and their dog knew what a time paradox was. And it's like, no, the point is, it's like you wouldn't know that's a paradox because you only experienced it one way before somebody made a change. And it was just like, all right, I lost all, and I didn't even bother with lightning returns because it was just like, all right, come on, guys.
I ended up buying the
let's
trilogy. Go ahead, Trey.
I was gonna just say, like, of all of the modern Final Fantasy games, even with my annoyance of 15 being a boy band who drives around in a Cadillac, which is like the very surface level irritation with it, even with all my irritation of with 15, 13 is by far the worst. Thematically, story wise, combat was fine. It was very, very like hallway based, which was very irritating to me.
I think that
There's
was
no exploration.
Well, somebody was talking about it until you get to Pulse, and you're like, "Oh, I can not in the hallway." But one of the things that somebody said that it was like 13 was a victim of like the PS2 to PS3, Xbox 360 era because they were still in this old mindset of how they would develop games, and then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, this is taking way too long," etc. And then they kind of got,
But if you really think about it, I mean. So 10 and 12, they kind of were a little bit railroady, similar to 13, but at least there was still some exploration. And that was on older hardware.
Like
they could have
the
illusion
of open worldness.
Yeah. It at least seemed like a world, but in the story of 13, it's like, oh, we're doing something because of reason, and if we don't do it, we get frozen in carbonite forever. So everywhere you go is like different all the time, and it's like it's just weird and it doesn't make sense. It's not cohesive to me. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't get it when I played it when it came out, but it was quite honestly the most negative Final Fantasy experience I've had, with the exception of having to talk to Luke Lamont about 30 times in an hour here recently. So yeah,
I started 13 a couple of times, and the only reason I ended up picking it back up was because the Series X, like playing it with the Series X mods that like auto apply, like they released like uncompressed video when you install the game. You get like the best visuals that you could get at that time for that game. And then now like you get it on PC, obviously, with all of those bells and whistles. But the console version, being having had the 360 version, it was just like, oh, I'll rebuy this and try it again.
Well, I'm fairly certain the 13 on PC is the same as it was when it released, because it released on PC when it did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure with mods and stuff you can make it look better, but I don't think they've actually done a ton of effort on 13 on PC.
I was saying, like mods, you can make it look nice, but the frame rate, the automatic like frame rate adjustment that they did on 360 or the Series X with like backwards compatible games made the console version of 13 like the best on Series X. Like that vanilla experience is really good. But I just can't. I haven't been able to play it more than like a couple of hours, and so I don't get very far in the story before I was getting distracted with something else. I'm telling you guys, this year I'm going to commit to beating at least one Final Fantasy, but I'm also playing like I'm reducing the amount of time I spend on multiplayer or live service games to almost nothing.
Yeah,
because I'm just kind of bored with doing checklists that don't end. I want stories, I want experiences. I don't want to just grind endlessly for no reason.
Yeah, I'm dramatically like in that same kind of boat. Like unless I'm playing specifically like Arc Raiders with Scrag, which I just haven't had the ability to do that. Like it's like unless I'm like, hey,
if I'm playing with friends, that's different.
It's all different ball game, but it is that more shift to like, well, what can I pick up and play, and that has that ease of access. I do want to call out a couple people in chat who are saying some things that I think are really interesting and pertinent to what we're talking about. Draken specifically was talking about Final Fantasy 9 or Riot. Absolutely gem
I wish.
of a game. Gem of a game. Final Fantasy 9. I think there was some disappointment that popped up online because like the one of the game directors or designers, and forgive me, I know I'm not specifically
character designer.
Character design, thank you. I was like, yeah. It was on the top of my head and I lost it. He recently stepped away, resigned from Square Enix, and it's like there's a lot of hopes that their Final Fantasy 9 would get another again. That'd be a wonderful game to see. On. I'd love them to see them do 8, like a remake of 8 as well. I think
I how many like big game anniversaries are going to come and go, and we just get disappointed as fans. You know,
and then meanwhile, like Final Fantasy 7, Dragon Quest 7, amazing. Obviously 7, obviously getting everybody's still waiting on part 3. I honestly think that if they did 6 or 9, please don't do it like they did 7. Like make it a full on complete, game.
Well, don't do it like they did 8 when they ported 8 to modern platforms, and it's Final Fantasy 8 remastered, but it's just the same game with like slightly
different textures.
Yeah, it's like okay,
literally the same exact game.
Change.
Yeah. The other thing though is like it's interesting. Have any of y'all ever played Lost Odyssey?
Yes.
It's incredible. The thing was that came out around the same time as 13, and obviously 13 had the Final Fantasy brand, but Lost Odyssey is the Final Fantasy 13 soul. Like it's such a good.
I disagree.
Experience. You don't like Odyssey, or you don't think that?
No, I don't think it's as good as The Last Remnant.
I didn't bring up Last Remnant. I was talking about 13.
Yeah, I know, but I brought it up because it's a Square Enix game and it's actually really good, and nobody played it.
Yeah, I have Last Remnant. I played it. I think it was fantastic. But I was just saying, like from Mistwalker, which was the guy who invented Final Fantasy,
right?
Like, and it's such a crime that we've never seen a follow up to Lost Odyssey. Like it is such a frustrating. He went on and made other games. I think one recently just came. It was out like on Apple. Now it's like everywhere. I need a Neo Phantasm or something like that. I need to go try to find some time and go hands on with that. I think that'd be something fun for this year alone. But my goodness, like Lost Odyssey, let's go. That could have been a franchise. And it was. I felt it was so good, and it actually brought in some of the stuff that like when people are praising Expedition 33, like you had things that you could react to that helped add in an extra level of benefit, which was really, really wonderful in that regards.
Yeah, I just really want a Final Fantasy 9 like remake to happen. We know that they were working on it. Everybody was like convinced it was coming, and then with the big shakeup, and then with the big shakeups and everything all across the industry, but Square Enix specifically, I think it was just like, how can they do all that they did for the anniversary and still think people aren't interested in the remake? Like their analysts and like their goals don't seem to align with. Do they just not have faith in the game, or do they not have faith in the remake?
Which game is this?
9, obviously 9.
Oh yeah, 9 is like, I think the problem with 9 is that they're scared that they're not going to do it right, and people are going to be upset.
If it was literally just, hey, we made it look really pretty, and it's that same art style, just with like, modern models and Unreal Engine 5. I don't know. Like, say what you will. It's as long as it stayed turn based or ATB, because that's what I liked. But they kept it that way and didn't change anything else. Just made it prettier. I think that would be fantastic. Like rework all the cutscenes. Do those things, and it would sell. Like that's all people want.
They and I don't know if this was them being a little bit humble, but they announced Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, have sold over 1 million copies over the last 3 months. And the guy was like, I thought it might do 1 million over 3 years, but look at this. I was like, it's one of the best Final Fantasy games ever made.
Releasing some additional content for the game too. They've talked about they're looking at what they can do to like give back. And so they're thinking, I think a lot of people are hoping that any of the cut content from like
the lines
makes it over, and that would be great. Because then it's like, okay, now it's complete.
I think that'd be like a huge win for the fans, and I hope that if nothing else, it just continues to go, hey, maybe we should make Final Fantasy Tactics 2. Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would be very interested in seeing what you guys could do if you guys had that hyper focus and really just like, yep, we're gonna put the team together. We have a vision for this, what this game can and should be. Same thing with the advanced series, Final Fantasy Tactics A1 and A2. Like, let's bring those back. The thing I'm hopeful for. So I think if a moment that would bring tears to my eyes is if we see like Chrono Trigger 2D HD. Like, it's like if they went and said and did that, I think that would be something that I would be so excited.
If anybody gets even the slightest whiff of the existence of that, the internet will explode. It's just, we've all wanted it. Since Octopath Traveler.
Yeah,
we've gone Chrono Trigger needs an HD 2D like focus. That's the thing that needs to happen. Will it? I don't know. I think at this point they're going to go, don't know if we can do it justice, right? Or will the game, obviously fans of it know it'll hold up, but will new people come in and try it out? And I think they would. I'm hopeful they would, but they can't just rely on us old guys to keep buying these same games over and over.
Well, it is like you can only really kind of employ this strategy once, right? In 25 years, like there's now like all TVs are ultra wide, and no, like that's just not going to be what ends up taking over. And so you're not going to get the benefits of like, yeah, we're revisiting this modern hardware with how games are saved and people have their digital libraries. Like, yeah, I think you get kind of one stake at it. And what I'm seeing already, like with the fact is like with Dragon Quest 1 through 3, with 7, I'm hoping that it's like we see in the entire slate. I think that would be really, really ideal for me as a player who's like, yeah, I want to be able to have access to all the games. So I'm hoping that, especially that 7's a success, because 8, I think, is a real gem. And I know there's people who haven't had to play that. But one game. So in the United States, they eventually did bring 5 and 6 out. But that's the thing with 7. Back to my story, was like I was starving for a Dragon Quest game, and I kept watching 5 and 6, and it never came out. I was able to download the ROMs to the kind of the patch and check them out, but actually having it finally released, it's like I really hope that they do 4, 5, and 6 as well, because those would be really, really great. Especially 5 has such a powerful game that I have them all, like on DS and things like that. But I really would love to have them just on the Play Anywhere kind of family. And 9 though, and 10's the MMO, but 9 is also this orphaned game that's only on like the DS. And they, oh gosh, like let's do that too. Come on, guys, like bring it over and let us all play it. It'd be wonderful. 10, I think, is the most difficult like choice. They've talked about, like, I think they even have maybe a 10 offline version. And then the same things, like we got Final Fantasy 1 through 6 pixel remasters. 7, they got a remake, but man, I tell you, 7, 8, 9, even if it didn't go that full remake, but if they did that kind of pixel remaster where it's like, hey, new everything, it's going to look visually on par.
It's the same game you remember. It's just how you remember it looking. Like
that's a fair point. How you remember it. Like when I look at images of Final Fantasy 7 now, I'm like, oh man, like I don't remember. In my mind, I remember it much cleaner.
It's the same thing every time, you remember playing GoldenEye with your buddies. It's like GoldenEye was super fun. And then you go play it and you're like, how did I enjoy this? And so like,
because your buddies were there.
Yeah, it's true. Now we play online and nobody uses a mic. It's not. And it
was equally bad for everyone. That was the fun part.
It was the guy that picked Odd Job that had the best time. It was half the height of everybody else.
Odd Job's banned. You can't pick Odd Job.
Slappers only.
Good times, man. And then they remade it recently, and it's like it doesn't really kind of hold up because it's like I guess for the time, it's of its time. Is a pretty good phrase for that. The difference
with like Final Fantasy is it's so story driven, and ATB, or even if they just made it turn based, whatever format they use, don't structurally change it. The story holds up, you know. Whereas with like a more action-oriented game, it's like, okay, well, some of this has been iterated upon in other games so much that there's better ways this could have been done.
I do like how they've been bringing in voice acting these older games, because it's like, they've done it so far, and it really does add to it. Final Fantasy Tactics, I think, is the best example. They really did, I think, an excellent job on the voice acting. And it, for me, as somebody who especially struggled reading back, like still today is dyslexic. It's like there's times where people would say like a part of a story, and I'm like, oh man, I completely misread that. It's like I read that wrong. I thought this, and then hearing the voice acting kind of going along with it also kind of makes it enjoyable to play with the kids, even though I was playing 7 last night. I had Annie, who's like, she's in first grade, or her reading's getting good, and she's just getting better. But I had her like read the words out, because there are moments that they have it voiced, and those scenes autoplay, which feel really good. And then there's times where you're just talking and et cetera. And I was like, oh well, I need to sign off on your homework that you read for 30 minutes. Here, let's play 7. You read it to me.
This counts. Genius.
Sign it off. Like, let's go. Dude, that's how gaming is for parents. It's like, how many check boxes can I hit at one time? And that's what we're doing. A, nice. Reading homework. B, playing video game. C, quality time with daughter. Bada bing, man. Triple play right there. But yeah,
you did it.
I do wonder if, I do think that this year will continue down that trend, because this topic in and of itself just spun out of the, what's this mysterious fourth game. Scrag says he's not specifically excited about like Fable. Are any of you guys excited about Gears of War E-Day? Like, are there anything that you're looking forward to from Xbox this year?
The OG Gears of War trilogy. My wife and I have played through all of them in co-op, and we started playing 4 a couple of different times, and we got a good ways through it. I think we just put it down and didn't come back to it. And the only thing I did with Gears 5 was play multiplayer with some buddies.
Okay.
And it was fine. E-Day I could get into because it's the prequel story, and I liked the original games. So that's a bit closer to like what I remember Gears being. And so I think I'll enjoy it, but I don't know if I'm necessarily excited for it.
That also horror element that haven't felt so much, because of course, like the first 3, scary stuff. Like you're kind of learning more about the world and how that kind of evolved. And I remember the ones the little clickers that would run up and blow up on you. Like those are you hear the noise, you kind of panic and kind of have to look around. I love Gears. I love 5, but you are kind of correct. I think they wrote themselves into a real problem with the way they ended 5, because you have to make a choice of which basically main character dies. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. Like
they'll just have to do what I think Mass Effect 3 ended up doing.
Make a choice for you. Like, oh
yeah, it's just like, oh, this is based on if you made this choice, and you don't get an option. You get the real ending if you play this game.
Yeah. And that's most likely what they'll have to do if they decide to continue that story. Like, again, we're seeing kind of like a lot of the game industry shift and say, hey, this isn't working. Our hunt for more players isn't panning out. We're not seeing, the payoff. Let's dip back into nostalgia. And that's what the Xbox 25 thing is like. Hey, Fable, Halo, Gears of War. Like, if I was putting money down, this fourth game, I think it's got to be a nostalgic trip. Like the thing that
could it be Banjo?
That's what I want. Banjo.
Is that Banjo Kazooie?
That's like every year. It's like, where's Banjo?
Yeah.
You own this franchise. Like from Nintendo, like what do I want from Nintendo this year? I am so excited going to be seeing the Mario Galaxy movie with the kids.
Yeah.
Like we had a great time with the first one. We're going to have a great time with this one. I think a Sonic movie is also coming out.
Yeah, it did towards the end of this year. I believe it's Sonic 4. So it's going to be
Sonic
a great,
4. So I'm like,
great year for everything but games.
Superman. Like this is going to be another year. Cause like, it was so funny. I've told people this story a handful of times. I was like, yeah, there was a period of time where I didn't go to movies, and I've kind of like, I love going to movies. And then you called me out. You're like, this is your third story about going to the movies this year. I was like, I have gone to the movies a lot this year. I had a great 2025. And I was like, I listed 2. Supergirl comes out this year. I was like, I'm going to go back
Avengers
to the movies.
Doomsday.
Avengers Doomsday,
the hype cycle for that is got me hooked. Like the X-Men teaser was perfect.
So this is like, I wasn't aware of just like, I was like, man, I'm like 2025 was a great year for me in the movies. So much so we went and saw David in theaters, like at Christmas, took the kids to that. love that movie. I thought they did a great job. I want to go. There's a couple others I was like, I didn't get around to seeing, but I was like, maybe as the kids are older, it's just going to get easier to get to the theaters. But we have like Julie has Kindle Unlimited because she loves to read.
Yeah.
And every month she's like, maybe I should cancel it. I was like, you read 30 books this month. Like, it's like, you're good.
Yeah.
This is your like, all right, go take a bath and have some you time, non-mom time. And there you go. I was like, it's worth the cost. Like it's like $5 a month. It's nothing. We signed up for the Cinemark movie club. Hey, you get a free ticket or whatever. It's like, and we meant to cancel it. We never did. And I was like, that's my Kindle Unlimited. So we were able to go to the movies so much. I wasn't aware of it. I was telling the story, and you're like, wait, this is your third time we're talking movies here. I was like, I hit platinum status on from Cinemark, which means I get 2 free movie tickets a month now. So I'm like, let's freaking go.
It's gonna be a good year.
It's gonna be a good year. Like, oh, should I take Izzy is the 5-year-old. The youngest is gonna be 3 in April, so she's still too young, but that's gonna make it all worth it. So I probably now it's like, can I maintain platinum status? And we named 5 movies that if I take the kids to, I'm probably gonna keep with that like status in and of itself. But yeah, I think back to the gaming aspect, nostalgia is going to be another year heavily nostalgic coded.
I'm hoping companies realize that forcing all the years they've spent forcing microtransactions and multiplayer and battle passes and stuff isn't what people want to pay for. And if I'm paying $70+ for something, I want it to be a full, complete experience. I don't
see Thomas Mahler from Moon, New vs. Wicked, basically calling out Diablo 4. Scrag, I'm kind of curious because he also did include Path of Exile in that, even though he did clarify that he has the greatest respect for grinding gear games. But like, you even sent me that article. I think it's like PC Gamer kind of reporting on it. Did y'all see that? Did you see that, Chrono? Okay,
I'll look it up.
What about Diablo 4 being the worst ARPG on the market right now?
Pretty much is what, like, he was going toe to toe with Mike Ybarra, basically just kind of taking him to task. Now people can have an opinion of whether they think that's appropriate or not, but it's like, I do appreciate the fact that he's willing to actually say what gamers are thinking. And for the most part, I think that was the reaction that a lot of people were taking away. Like, he was just like, you brought in the $65 horse mount. Like, what do you like? What?
All of that aside, not even caring about that. If you just go play Diablo 4 after playing Path of Exile 2, let's say you play Path of Exile 2 for 50 hours. I dare you to go back to Diablo 4 and see if you last longer than 20 minutes. It is trash. It feels awful. They could have done so much with that. They could have made it so much better. But nope. It's just a bad game. Just like D3 was, but at least D3 was kind of fun. I don't know. It's kind of sad when a game series you would rather play the version that's 20 years old than the current version.
Well, and that's the thing. Diablo 2, I think people still hold up. They did the reimagine of that, the remake, where you can kind of like with the Halo 2 when they did you could toggle between the classic view versus hey, we made it look
I still play that every once in a while. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. And so it's like, I do wonder what will be interesting to see is that because Wicked, No Rest for the Wicked is targeting 2026 as their release. That's my most anticipated game this year, unless all of a sudden Light No Fire is also targeting 2026. But based off of the conversation around that game, maybe we'll start to hear more of it. We do know that things are happening because No Man's Sky is benefiting from all the work and investment that they're doing, and that's kind of the promotion of the game in and of itself. Is every 3 months, John Murray tweeting out the update stuff, and the game just continues to do the numbers that it does, which is great. But yeah, outside of that, that right now is my most anticipated game, and I do hope that I can make time. I will make time for Gears, and the thing I like about the Gears series, and as long as they don't get rid of it, they allow me to turn off the gore and the profanity. and that means here's dad shooting monsters. Like it's not, I don't
Yeah.
have to worry
I,
about
I
like
really wish
kids.
other games would implement those kinds
Final
of
Fantasy
features.
16, they did not, and that
Yeah.
was like, just give me the ability to turn off the profanity, and I can play this more in front of the kids, and enjoy, it. But now it becomes like a game that it's like, well, I have to kind of like wait till the kids to go to sleep.
Yeah.
That's just the life choices that I've made. But I appreciate that the Gears team has those filters built into the game. You don't need a mod. You don't need to do anything around it.
Yeah.
We'll go from there. Gentlemen, we're at the hour. That's usually when we try to wrap up the show. Is there anything that we did y'all wanted to talk about that we didn't? And if not, what are you guys playing this week as we get ready to kind of kick up a whole new year of podcast fun?
Well, I have a quick comment about Gears of War.
Okay.
The thing I really like about the Gears of War series is that if your name is Kyle and you wear your hat backwards, it's like probably the best game in the world.
What the heck?
You gotta admit, I have a point. You have
Man.
to admit I have a point.
When the series launched, like the first two games are so good. The third one is okay. Like it's still really good narratively.
Mhm.
I think the gameplay style, it works. They've really nailed taking cover and active reloading being like the core mechanics. I'm glad they've stuck to those kinds of things and just figured out different weapons that are fun to use. I'm hoping E-Day kind of goes back to what made 1 and 2 so good. A compelling story and really tight gameplay. And they weren't trying to I don't know. I felt like Gears 3 was right before they jumped the shark. Because the story was this massive conclusion to everything they had built up in 1 and 2. And it was cool. And then 4 just kind of was like, this is weird. It's the same, but it doesn't feel right. And I think it's just as a franchise goes on and on and on, and Halo's dealing with the same thing. They keep having to push these limits and do new things, and they run out of things to try. And so that's why I think the Halo remake is so important this year for the franchise, because it's going to do the same thing E-Day hopefully does for Gears.
I'm very curious to see how they handle multiplayer, because it's announced so far just as the campaign.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. This is the year I'm not playing multiplayer. So it works.
Fair. But I'm like, the thing that
put Halo on the map was playing LAN with your buddies,
Right.
and split screen, and that's going to be kind of wild. I'm hoping that doesn't hurt it, but they've got to have something in the works.
And again, it doesn't have to be married to the campaign, right? Like you could sit here, like we have the team that did the campaign, and here's the Halo multiplayer that is cross-platform, yada yada yada. You can do all the fun things with, like that would be cool. I just wonder if they'll talk about that at all this year, or if this year's just gonna be like, yeah.
Let's just hope that they all kind of realize that, and this goes for every studio that has had multiplayer bound up with annual releases, or every new iteration has a single player and multiplayer component.
Mm-hmm.
That if you want a multiplayer that will last and you want to do the service approach, it needs to be by itself. Call of Duty needs to do the same thing. Battlefield pretty much focuses only on multiplayer these days. That single player that they put out is usually decent, right? But the multiplayer is where that series has always shined. And I think decoupling that old thinking where it's like, all right, and Call of Duty really hurt for it this year. Black Ops 7 did so poorly because they went, well, we're going to do a single player, but it's online only, and you're basically playing multiplayer with bots, and it was trash. People didn't like it. So once they can just get over this tightly coupled release cycle,
mm-hmm.
and that's what I feel like they're doing with Halo. They'll just release the Halo multiplayer platform, and it will be cross-play with everything. It'll be everywhere, and it'll just be multiplayer, and it'll be a team dedicated to multiplayer. That would be the best outcome, because they can still do good single player stories
mm-hmm.
and keep iterating on multiplayer.
I think the one thing I would add to that I would personally like to see is that with them, especially multiplayer and suits of armor and things that you can kind of collect and unlock, I think it would be cool to see hey, you played the single player campaign, you've
Right.
unlocked these things for multiplayer, but they don't
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
to be. They don't have to be married. You don't have to be like, okay, like the
Mm-mm.
multiplayer's, not ready. Like single players out there, we're gonna make sure that this whole thing's set up and ready to go, and thus, you're not things aren't rushed or felt half complete or half cocked, etc.
Right.
I agree. I think that would be something really interesting. What are you playing this week? What's on your gaming lineup?
Well, I finished up Pokemon ZA
I saw
beginning
your
of the week,
short.
and it was good. I really enjoyed it. It was I get all the criticisms, but I can still enjoy something that everybody hates. Like that's okay. I like Kingdom Hearts. Like I'm used to disappointment.
I'll say.
But it was a good game. I understand the criticisms. I still had fun. The story got way better as you played it. And then I started Metroid Prime 4, which is just great. Retro Studios coming in and restarting development on that game made it way better. I get the criticisms that it's facing over the desert hub world thing, but the core like experiences with like the different areas you get to go and do Metroid things in,
Mhm.
super fun. I'm loving it.
Yeah, that's the one thing I want from Nintendo this year is I want a Mario game announcement. I would love it if it was also out this year.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's what I want from Nintendo. Scrag, what you got on your docket this week?
This weekend I'm gonna be continuing renovations in my house, so probably not a ton of gaming. But when
Real
I do
world Animal
find
Crossing
time,
right there.
yeah, when I do find time for games, I'm probably gonna do a little bit of Monster Hunter, maybe some Arc Raiders if one of my buddies begs me to play. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I am definitely putting in a BenQ support ticket to like return this thing and buy the bigger size because I don't think I'm gonna get used to the smaller size. It's like here's a direct comparison. Here's my broken one, and here's this one.
Yeah, that's I ended up ordering because I wanted a
What is that?
rechargeable
A
mouse.
mouse for a child?
I wanted a rechargeable mouse, and it ends up being kind of small. And I was like, "Gosh darn it! I wish I had something a little bit bigger."
Yeah,
But the nice thing about it is it is
That's-
rechargeable, so I'm not like it's like I don't want anything I have to worry about batteries.
Yeah, the
That's the bad thing about
EC1 DW is the large hand size mouse. If your hands are 7.5 inches or bigger, EC1 DW is the current one.
And
Really good.
ladies, if you're
oh my.
I said hands.
oh sorry, couldn't resist. The for me, I've got a couple of kind of deadlines, right? Because it's like with the 22nd, I'm just enjoying and kind of doing some prep work, rest of the Wicked, but then also with the second, Dragon Quest 7, I'm really looking forward to that coming out, and so I'm going to see if I can't knock out and finish 2. There's no way I could do 3 in that kind of time frame. But I was like, yeah, I've been making really good progress in 2. It's like I like to see if I can't finish that game before I start another Dragon Quest game. It's like I'm playing 3 Dragon Quest games at the same time. It's like, dude, I'm down. But yeah, I think
easy.
come on, man, go spend time with your kids. Yeah, yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. I'm very excited to kind of see what they announced at the Xbox event. I'm very curious to see what PlayStation has on the dock for this year. A lot of rumors swirling, especially with GTA 6. Is it gonna?
Yeah, we don't really know
here?
what Sony's like first party looks like besides Wolverine.
Is that coming out this year?
I think so.
Wolverine is the game that I'm very interested to see how
I mean, I guess MLB The Show.
That's crossplay. I was like MLB The Show's great. It's great every year. I haven't. It's been the premier baseball game, so I'm glad they now bring that everywhere. Helldivers 2, yeah, that was another game.
Yeah, I
that's
need to
now
play
everywhere.
that Night Rain DLC because I paid for it when I bought the game. I should probably play it, right?
Is that the multiplayer Elden Ring?
Yeah, we
Okay,
haven't played it yet, have we?
I haven't. That's one of the things I was
you
really
have it,
looking
though,
forward
right?
to last year. I honestly have no idea.
If you do get it on Steam because I don't think it's cross-platform.
Yeah, because if it's not cross-platform, then there's no freaking way. Maybe that'll be something I get to pick up because we'll see what the year holds, because all in all, I felt 2025 was amazing, and here we are, 2026, baby. Yeah, I want a new 3D Mario game on my Switch too. I think that will actually my kids play the Switch too more than like that's the only way it's getting like used. I play the Xbox
Marines
for Galaxy.
2 is still on sale for whoever asked in chat. So I'm just saying.
There you go. All right, guys, we'll be back next week. more gaming news and highlights and so much more to talk about. Thank you guys for the people here in chat. Thanks for the likes on YouTube. Thanks for the chats over on Kick and on Twitch. So guys, this was great. So happy new year to all y'all, and hopefully we'll see you next time. But until then, take care.